Hi everyone, this is Robin with Weight Loss Apocalypse. I'm really excited to share this YouTube video with you. I published this session, I think in January of 2015, so it's been about a year and a half or 2.5 years. And this is an incredibly powerful session. This client came to me with a history of addiction, primarily alcoholism and drug addiction. And she didn't go to substance knowing that those watching her parents' life kind of not function well. But she ended up being going more towards cigarettes, gambling, dieting, thinness, food as a consequence. And so she's midlife, has kids, and has gone to great length to find help with her obsessive compulsive addictions, and been to eating disorder clinics, therapy groups, food addiction groups, OA, you name it. And she found me on YouTube with the HCG protocol. And immediately what I was saying and how I was describing addiction to her was resonating. And so this session is about 1 hour and 10 minutes. What you're seeing here, what I've given you like 12 minutes of this session. The entire session is in a link below. So this was published 1.5 years ago or 2.5 years ago. So you can watch the whole thing. In this clip, we're discussing the route to recovery, which is not easy. Going into total and complete surrendering to the feelings of anxiety, fear, actually accepting rejection, abandonment, disapproval, loss, failure, total and complete collapse of the soul, and how that willingness for her to do that completely changed her awareness, her state of being, and her and I are discussing that process. And we also talk about how it felt for me, because I have recovered from the same thing. And I don't know if everybody knows this who's watching this video, but I have completely recovered from a horrific addiction to thinness and exercise, obsessive compulsive behavior around that, and the actual feeling inside. And by the way, my family has addiction as well, but I do not believe in the disease model, partly because if it was a disease, I wouldn't have miraculously recovered, and neither would this client who you're listening to, and neither would all of the clients I've worked with who have a miraculous recovery, which is why I've been studying it not as a disease, but as a syndrome, which is, something you'll have to read in my next books. So that I'm writing right now. They're not done yet. So I hope you enjoy this 12-minute clip. If you want to watch the entire video, there's a link to it below. It's 1 hour and 10 minutes. If you would like to watch my current YouTube videos, they are no longer published fully and completely on YouTube. I am publishing them privately in my Patreon, Weight Loss Apocalypse Patreon group. The link to Patreon is below. It's $5 a month. If you want to donate more than that to support what I'm doing, awesome. Some people do. If you would like to work with me, there's a link to my website. Fill in the below. Fill in the information request form. I will get back to you today, and we will get you set up for a 90-minute consult. All right, enjoy. Because your life is your life. You're going to school. You've got your kids. You're working. All this stuff, and right. And you have to really look at, why is this creating anxiety for you, and how can you change your perceptions? Because the alternative, which is trying to medicate the anxiety, isn't an option anymore. Because you're stuck with smoking cigarettes and you don't want to do it anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we shut the door to the diet, which is really shutting the door to the food.
Yes.
We give you the alternative that you've abused in the past and no longer want. And now the only way you can do it is like either smoke a damn cigarette or you're going to need to look at your anxiety.
Exactly.
What's happened to the anxiety since then? That was 2 weeks ago?
Yes, yeah. It's amazing because the next step, like you said, after shutting the door to the eating was really sitting in the anxiety, and I did that, and it was hard. It was painful in the moment. I cried for what reason I don't even know. It was very emotional and overwhelming, but I sat through it like I have never really done before because I had no out. That was my only option.
Yeah, it's almost, for me, it felt like death. It may not have felt like total death to you, but it's scary.
Yeah, no, it really is. It shakes you to your core, really.
Yeah, you feel inadequate, at least. There's a level of inadequacy, I think, that comes in just sitting with it. Because the reason why you're running away is because you don't think you can handle it. So once you take... I've been saying this for a long time. If you go back to some of my videos, some of you have watched all my videos. I say you're going to shut all escape routes. You're going to shut every single door to escape, and you're going to turn around and look at it. And that can feel overwhelming. It can feel like you're going to be hit by a tsunami. It can feel like someone's going to murder you. It's going to feel like someone's going to drag you and push you off a cliff to your death. And you have to say, until I face this, I'm going to keep on running. And that running away is my addiction. Whether you're running away with cleaning, you're running away with gambling, you're running away with food, you're running away with dieting and food. Those two go hand in hand. You're running away on so many levels. You're exercising to run away. You're trying to escape something you feel inadequate with. So until you really open yourself up to just sitting with the inadequacy and saying, if you're going to kill me, kill me now. I'm tired of running. I've been running my whole life and I'm tired. I'm done. When you do that, you are rewiring your brain chemistry.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Have you noticed that when you sat through it, you stood up, you walked away, and has it been anything close to that one time since?
No, not at all. That's what I'm saying. It's been like, finally, I'm back where, I was in the past where food was never an issue. I mean, if I got hungry, that's when I thought about it, but otherwise not. I mean, it was just, I'm back to that point now, and it's amazing to me. This is where I've wanted to be for so long, and, and it's just, it bleeds into all other parts of your life, your anxiety that you feel or stress that you feel about things that really shouldn't be so enormously stressful in your life. You see it totally different. Your whole perception changes. It's really been transforming, really, is what it is. I haven't had to do it. Yeah.
When you're in it, when you're inside that, you could say fight or flight, survival state of mind, right? Because that's really what it is. Don't you agree? When you have that anxiety, those waves of emotions you don't think you can handle, which is why you used to smoke, which is why you used to gamble, which is why you used to eat or diet or whatever. Don't you agree? You're living in a state of survival. You're living in a state of fear.
Of course.
It's like you're running from fear. I know, and it gets real, and it doesn't go away, and it just gets worse. That's what they say is the disease, That's what they say is genetic.
Say it one more time, you cut out.
That fear that you're running from, that anxiety, that's what they believe is genetic.
Oh, which is no.
That's the addiction. Oh my God, I'm an addictive personality. That's what that is. Running away from fear, anxiety, and it really stems from feeling inadequate. It is that lower state of consciousness. I fail. I suck. I'm ashamed. I can't handle this. The embarrassment feeling, that sense of inadequacy, even if it isn't with reality, you're now dealing with inadequacy to that anxiety, inadequacy to that fear, right? And to just consider, if you can sit through those emotions that are severe, that they developed into a severity, what can't you handle?
Yeah, no, I can handle anything.
Notice the adequacy that comes out of that. Notice, in order for you to develop a sense of adequacy, you have to sit there and just experience those emotions that feel catastrophic.
It does feel catastrophic,
I know.
yeah. And I think it's a lot comes from like that emptiness that you feel that I think we just, or at least I just was running away from my whole life.
That's a
But
good, yeah.
if you sit in it, that emptiness is actually, I think that's where you find these things that you're looking for: the adequacy, the strength, the you know.
Yeah, and you're not defending it. I think that's the key too. It's like, well, if you continue to defend those or fight those emotions, that's a sign of inadequacy.
Right.
If you just sit with it, you're saying the bare bones, the nakedness of my spirit, the nakedness of my desire to just be done with this, if I just submit to it in humility, right? In my desperation, in my, submission to it, that has to be enough because I'm done defending it. If I continue to defend this emotion, it's going to continue because it's keeping its existence by defending it. Because now I have to have the defense mechanism. So we're really talking about brain chemistry right now. That fear, fight, flight, survival area, the brain has to always be aware, has to always be awake. And that's where that anxiety comes in. That's where that fear comes in. And it's real. And for people who get conditioned with it, it's a day-to-day thing. For me, it was like 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times a day by the time that I was willing to commit suicide over it. So, it's like, it's a real sense of I'm going to get killed. And it doesn't make sense, but it is insane and it happens quick. The whole body manifests. You're sweating, your heart's palpitating. It feels like it's real. The brain thinks you're going to die. It's amazing.
Hypervigilance that you're always on watch, like always expecting something that to happen.
Well, and you have to, I believe, for your brain to rewire, you have to sit through that and not respond.
You absolutely have to.
You cannot respond.
No other way to deal with it.
Yeah, some people will say just let it come in and let it go, and it's like that's not, because if you do that, you're still defending it to some degree. Right. You have to open your eyes. You need to breathe it in. Let it into your lungs. You have to sit there with it and say, I accept that you're going to kill me and I'm not going to turn. So even though some people can say, okay, they're still perpetuating it. So any of you out there, any of you therapists, which I know you're out there, you have to encourage these people to open their eyes and take it on and breathe it in. You can't just sit there, close your eyes, turn away and let it go away and disappear, like hiding under the covers. Once you say, I'm going to, I'm going to feel it. And that's what I told you. I said, you need to look at it, try to understand it, because you should. You're an expert at it. It's been chasing you for a long time. So you might want to look at it, get to know it, invite it in. And the crazy thing about it is it feels like it's going to last forever. That's because death is permanence. And the brain this is survival. I mean, it's amazing. There's nothing wrong with this mechanism, actually. It's just connected to first world issues, right?
Yes.
So once it comes in and it feels like I'm going to have to live with this forever, don't you agree? There is a level of I would rather live with this forever than to live with my defensiveness forever.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's because what I've been doing is living with this fear of panic and death and my defensiveness. So I have both. I don't want both anymore. So if I have to, I would rather live in this fear of I'm going to get killed. Right? It's like the fear of being fat forever, the fear of being a loser forever, the fear of being inadequate forever, the fear of everybody thinking you suck forever. Wouldn't you rather that?
Yeah.
I know. And it comes in, and the most amazing part about it is once you accept it as permanent, it goes away permanently because it's based around conditions. And you realize this, this is totally conditional. This was because I felt like I couldn't handle it. And now that I can handle the worst case scenario, what can't you handle?
Yeah, nothing.
I know.
You can handle anything.
Have you noticed that fear is gone?
Oh, it totally is. Totally.
A lot of people say you're going to live with that forever. forever.
That's fine.
No, but the reality is that true? Is that true for someone who totally goes in?
Not. No way. No way.
It's you. There's no escape route. There's no whoopee. There's nothing to cloak you over you. You're sitting there buck-ass naked saying, if you're going to kill me, go for it. I don't care anymore.
Exactly. If you make yourself completely vulnerable to it and you have nothing, no defense anymore. And so that whole cycle is gone.
Yeah, we could actually go into the brain chemistry. I'm sure someone smart enough out there or thinks they know enough that they could say, well, this is what's happening here. And anytime you defend, there's something happening here, which literally creates the feedback loops that creates this fight or flight continuum.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? You have the beliefs. You have the defensive that comes in on this side of the brain. They create basically what's called a feedback loop. This one needs this to respond. This, as soon as this goes away, oh, we need more of this. It's called feedback loops inside the brain. And you have triggers which come from fear of inadequacy, fear of being judged, all of that. Woo, we've got more, which means, okay, yes, I'm going to defend it. So you have this, and it can get really bad to where it's obsessive. It's constant. That's obsessive compulsive. You're living in a state of fear and death. Anyway, so once you have this weird inadequacy and you have this amount of, you could say neurochemistry peptides coming into the brain saying, you're going to get rejected, you piece of shit. Oh my God, no one's going to love you. This part of the brain says, oh, death, death, death. Oh my God, you're going to die. And you know what you're not doing? Defending it.
Right.
You don't respond. And all of a sudden this goes, hold on, come on. And then it goes, oh, well, I guess we didn't need it. And the brain deconditions. And it's incredible how elastic the brain is, because the deconditioning process for me, in terms of having that fear of death, it lasted maybe 24 hours, to where the first time was the worst. The next time I ate, it was there, but then I was like, I didn't even respond to it, because I had accepted death. I'd accepted being obese. That was the death for me. And to me, it was like, and then within 24 hours, it was just gone. Something that was so insane was immediately just within it was gone. It was an unbelievable experience. And I assume you are going through that same process.
Yeah. I mean, something that I feel like has been ingrained in like every fabric of me is just completely not there anymore. And it was that fast. It really, really was. I mean, like you said, I don't know how many hours, 24 hours, whatever, but it was really just that instant, that moment that I decided to sit in that feeling, in that pain, in that discomfort.
And be open to it.
Right? Like something changes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, partly because it was like, we said, okay, again, it starts with, and when you went and bought that pack of cigarettes, you sent me a text picture of it. I had asked you to. Were you not like, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, because these cigarettes aren't getting touched?
Yes, I was excited about it. I was excited. Once I understood what you were doing, I was like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah, this is gonna work.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, now that you kind of walked away from those ashes and you